Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. Well, today I just thought it's Sunday, just cooked a nice dinner for my wife. We had a nice meal at home. I just thought that since we're coming down to the political season, I was just going to say a little bit about how I feel about what's going on, that we're in the home stretch and we have a battle of ideology going on. And it's one that we must win. Excuse me. But anyway, listen, I tell you what, based on the fact that Kamala Harris put like a little fake little interview out there, it really didn't say much, but she's a California girl. And I think that no matter what she says, no matter what she's trying to do to finesse her way into the White House, just look at California and you'll know all the stuff you need to know about whether you want to vote for her or not. Excuse me. Gavin Newsom may sign a law in California because their internal house just voted to pass a law that they're going to give illegal immigrants up to $150,000 of free money to buy houses. Just think about that. They're going to take the taxpayers' money and they're going to give it to illegal immigrants. And they just killed all of the so-called reparations bills that they were going to have in California. But the real point is that Kamala Harris, like I said, is a California girl, and she wants to spread that ideology across the whole United States. It doesn't matter what she says, because right now she's just playing a role. And the fact that she understands that the less she says, the stronger she is, because people are voting for her just based on, ideology, politics. I mean, identity politics. Just think about that. Just think about it. So we have a battle of ideology going on. Do you want this damaging liberal policy where anything goes to permeate across the whole United States from the federal level with the full force of the executive branch? Or do you want conservatives who are America first, regardless of what you think, still have some Christian values? Now, there's a couple of things that's a wash, right? What's a wash? What's a wash is that they're both for, Israel, the stupid war in the Ukraine. They're both for corporations. They're both sold out to the highest bidder. So that part of it is a wash. Right? The ideology part is not, though. It's not. So Kamala Harris, people want to vote for her because she has brown skin and she's a woman. And listen, I understand about voting based on identity politics, because most of us who are Black voted for Obama the first term because of that. I mean, I have to admit that. Luckily for us, Obama was no Kamala Harris. He had some substance to him. So I voted for him the second time, not because he was Black. It's because I thought he did a decent job getting us out of the mess that Bush made and some of the other policies he had in place. But I'm telling you, we need to look as, and I'm talking as a Black man who, think that we have an opportunity to decide this election as Black men. I'm not talking about the step and fetch it Calvinites that are, like D.L. Hughley and Michael Dyson and Steve Harvey and all those kind of guys trying to shame Black men into voting, based on just the color of somebody's skin. How dare they? How dare they? You know what I'm saying? These guys have sold their souls to the devil a long time ago. And they want us to continue to do that. But no more. So let's look at some of this stuff. We got to look at Kamala from a policy standpoint, not from the standpoint that, she'll be the first Black this, and forget about the Black shit, right? She'll be the first Asian American. It doesn't matter what her ethnic background really is. It's what's her policy. What does she stand for? And she's flip-flopping all over the place already. But what does she stand for? Is it good for America or is it bad for America? That's what we need to vote for. And as a black man, that answer is straightforward. She doesn't have anything for us as black men, right? Don't say that she doesn't champion things for specific people. She's a champion of the alphabet community. She's a champion of a gender affirming care, taking kids away from their parents. She's a champion for unfettered rights to go delete babies, right? In fact, at the DNC, they had a roll-up truck. You know, they might as well just put welcome to the eugenics program on the truck. And we had women going in there and deleting their kids right outside of the DNC. You know, they try to minimize that, but, you know, and they try to say, well, we didn't really sponsor that. It doesn't matter. They wouldn't have one of those trucks outside of an RNC, right? And whether you believe in unfettered rights for a woman to delete babies or not, you know, it's just not a good look, right? You know, so if anybody go look up eugenics and understand that the most effective eugenics program is the program where people volunteer to delete babies. And do you know that we still don't have the statistics? But in the beginning of those programs, they used to sterilize the women once they had their first deletion. You know, so those people are spread all over the country, mostly in the poorer neighborhoods. And if you don't see what that flex is, I mean, you're just an idiot. You know, so we got to get away from anything goes, or ultra liberal communist like policies of Kamala Harris. I mean, just think about this. If you're an investor, one of her policies is to tax your unrealized gains. Did you know that? She wants to tax your unrealized gains. Now, some of you don't invest anything at all, but the ones of you out there who understand what unrealized gains means, that if you make a profit and you don't sell because you want to keep, you know, you don't want to pay taxes on that profit, they're going to force you to pay taxes on stuff you have not sold yet. Do you know how destructive and regressive that is? You know what I'm saying? Now, can she just do that by executive order? I don't think so. But, you know, to have a person with that mindset. Now, if the Democrats win the House and they keep the Senate, then she'll have free reign to do all kinds of destructive things. Not to mention the wars that she's going to continue to fund and maybe get us into. Now, I agree with Tulsi Gabbard that we've never been closer to World War III. And if we keep these clowns anywhere near the White House, it's going to happen. And they're not going to send their sons and daughters to fight. They're going to send yours. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all I'm just trying to say is, listen, we got to, as black men, we got to divest from the Democrat Party. One, there's nothing in it for us. And it will never be anything in it for us because they completely disrespect the whole black community. They got black women by their drawers. And because, you know, they see black women see something in it for them. A little flattery, a little this, a little that. And just think about if you go and do a cursory review of the black women who are getting higher offers, half of them are fumbling the bag. This is another one, Angelique Lee from Jackson, Mississippi. They're going to put her in jail. She was grifting people out of homes and stuff, or taking money under the cover to gentrify neighborhoods. She got convicted. Marilyn Mosley, Tiffany Henyard. I mean, listen, all I'm saying, it goes on and on and on and on. Because I don't really convinced that women don't understand how to use the power that they're given. So anyway, we can't afford another 4 years of Bidenomics. And I don't care if you call it Kamalanomics. She's going to continue these policies that we have. Runaway inflation, your heating costs are up. The cost of goods and services are up. You know, your salaries are stagnant. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you gotta look beyond your emotions. And we don't need to make history by putting a woman in office just because she's a woman. Wait 4 years and think about Tulsi Gabbard. Because if it's just about putting a woman of color, quote unquote, in the White House, Tulsi would be a whole lot better than most men out there. And she certainly would be better than Kamala Harris because she's already got the receipts against Kamala, right? So just think about the destruction of what would happen if we have 4 more years of ultra liberal, anything goes policies of Kamala Harris. She's going to giggle her way into the destruction of the United States. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? We just can't afford that. And one of the things that I want to tell black men out there, we got to, call the black panderers who come on the show, on talk shows and because they use their clout, the rappers and all that. Just go back to Malcolm X. Malcolm X says no other ethnic group parades around stars and shit like that to convince their population to do shit that's against their best interests. No other population does that. They don't put entertainers and athletes out in front and say, hey, if you don't vote this way, you ain't black, you this and that. So the guys like Charlamagne the God, the guys like D.L. Hughley, Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, Michael Eric Dyson, and just the little Charlamagne. I mean, it goes on and on. These pandering Django Calvinites, don't have our best interests in mind. They just don't. And so they ain't telling you to vote on policy. They're telling you to vote for a woman because she's a woman and she got brown skin. That's not going to keep America safe. That's not going to make us propel forward. That's not going to give us a peace dividend. You know what I'm saying? We don't get nothing out of that. So black men, if you want to make a change in America, if we want to decide and make a real change, something that we could take full responsibility for, on November 5th, vote for anybody you want to vote for, but just make sure you don't pull that Democratic line. We need to make sure that the Democrats lose in every swing state. Let me just say that again. They got to lose in every swing state. Right? I know I don't care whether you like Trump or not, but if you listen to the street interviews, there's a lot of people understanding that we're not voting for a pope. We're not voting for some godlike figure. We're voting for somebody who puts America first. If he gets something out of it, great, but he puts America first. When he negotiates with these other countries, he's negotiating based on America first. Based on us first. And every black person, I do know that when he was president before, none of us got hurt. There were no lynch mobs coming down the street, based on that bullshit that the Democrats were telling you. Where? When? If it wasn't for the pandemic, he probably would have got another term. Right? Because nobody was really stellar during the pandemic. So listen, if it wasn't for the pandemic, he probably would have got another term. So I'm just saying, listen, if we as black men, and there's a few black women trickling over. There's that Michaela Montgomery and a lot of other women starting to say, you know what, the Angela Rye of the world, they're not correct. The low self-esteem Joy Reids are not correct. All these women who just trying to shame black men into doing something that's against our best interests, no more. It's not going to happen anymore. It's just not going to happen anymore. And so we can do something that will be historic. We got to see the Democrats get crushed in every swing state. So even if Kamala wins the popular vote, which I don't think she really is, right? Because now she's going to have to start talking. People are going to start to have listening to her. Even that disastrous CNN interview, you could see all the sycophants from CBS NBC, CNN, and all of the all the Democratic shills who own those stations, trying to say that she did a good job. She didn't say shit, right? She just flip flopped on other things. She wants to steal some of she stole some of the talking points from Trump in terms of tips on no tips on no tax on tips. That was a Trump thing he said, which I don't disagree with, by the way. A lot of those people get shafted with the tips, but I mean that's a whole nother story, and that's a small thing compared to the larger issue of the country going backwards. So again, this November 5th is a battle of ideology. Do we want the liberal, communist, fascist type organization where you lose free speech? Kamala wants to come after guns. She said it, mandatory buybacks. The word mandatory means they're going to come to your house because they found out in Congress that even I don't own one, but if you own an AK-47, if you bought it legally, they have it digitally mapped. So they know who has them. You know what I'm saying? And so you get a knock on your door and they're coming for your guns, which is against the Second Amendment. Mark Zuckerberg already came out and said during the 2020 election, he was in bed with the Democrats to censor speech. I mean, we this stuff is just going over everybody's heads. We should be completely outraged, and they should lose the election just on that. That you don't have an opportunity to say your opposing views. I mean, listen. I mean, we could go on and on and on. That. Listen, the marriage rates are down because men have allowed legislation that changed marriage into a bad deal for men. Right? And listen, this notion that it's been a bad deal for women is a lie. So when California, again, passed a no-fault divorce law, it spread across the country. Right? It spread across the country. And since no-fault divorce, marriage rates have been going down because women are leaving men and taking all what men have built with them. Right? They're taking it. So this notion that a woman is trapped in a marriage because if they don't have no-fault divorce is a lie. It's a goddamn lie. Because all you have to do is have a real reason, one that's legitimate, to leave your husband or your wife for that matter. That's all it's saying, right? You just can't get up and say, I'm Tia Mowry. I want to graduate from my marriage. I want to break my family. Women break families more than men ever have for bullshit reasons. Because they know they can get away and go to a court and take a man's resources. So the point is, then we saw this spinster get on TV, get on YouTube and try to shame Cam Newton and Nick Cannon because they don't want to marry anybody and put all of their wealth at risk. They could take care of their kids. There's child support. They don't care about paying child support. They could be in the kids' lives and pay the women child support, and that's good enough for them. Those women ain't complaining. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're high-priced pookies. So what? It's better than, so that's part of this feminist, liberal identity politics that the Kamalas of the world play, right? And so as men, we got to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. I mean, I know I'm kind of alienated in my family somewhat, only somewhat. And when it comes to these discussions, I think they still love me, but I don't agree with men being led around by women by the nose. And women don't like that shit. They want to be in control, but you know what? They don't want to marry or they don't want to be around men in any capacity if that guy can't stand on his own 2 feet. And we should never lose sight of that. So let me just tell you, this election is so important, not only because of the future of America, but it's an opportunity for Black men to destroy the Democrat machine. We got a chance to destroy the Democrat machine by not voting for those assholes, for not giving them 90% of our vote. We get that down to 50%, 40%, they're going to lose in every swing state. And it doesn't matter if all the black women vote for them or not. It doesn't. We need to break away from them black girl magic chicks and do what we need to do to save America. We can't vote for Kamala Harris. I don't give a shit whether she's an AKA. I'm a Q. You know, and so I'm part of that whole boule stuff, but I'm not voting based on identity politics no more. We got one shot to do that with Obama. We can't afford to do it with Kamala Harris. And if you really want to think about it, if you really want to put a woman in the White House, wait 4 years and vote for Tulsi Gabbard. She'd make a much better president than Kamala Harris and most of the men out there. So it's not even a woman thing. You know, it's not even a woman thing. So all I care about is black men standing up, rejecting those Djangoites like Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley and all of the black sycophants, pandering sycophants that want to shame us to vote based on some identity bullshit. Fuck that. It's over. And so when the Democrats lose in November, because black men decided not to just bow out in one way or the other in all of those swing states, that's all we need, because they're going to come after us and we're going to stand up and look them in the eye and say, you're goddamn right. We did it. We did it. It's time for us to get something for our votes. We can't even get the anti, reparations. Forget about that. I'm not a reparations guy anyway, even though I did a video on Black Man Unfiltered about reparations, because I studied those California laws. That's gone. Gavin Newsom he said he gave a couple of monkeys and put them in a corner and say, do this report, and just so he could pacify you. And now it's time to put the money out. He's not signing that shit. Instead, he may sign this bill giving up to $150,000 for all the illegal immigrants. And Kamala Harris is going to want to spread that kind of poison across the whole United States. Look at what the black mayor did in New York. Look at what the black mayors have done in Chicago. Look at Denver. They got gangs doing New Jack City and shit from Venezuela. And the cops are telling the people, these guys are banging down doors, taking rent money from the tenants. And the cops are telling them they can't do nothing about it. How can that be? How can that be? You know, so, I mean, we sitting down here saying if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, you ain't black. I mean, you guys wake up, man. Wake up. You know, just listen to Malcolm X saying that our worst enemy is the liberal because he's a Trojan horse. Right? Think about it. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, trying to pat you on the head, telling you, yeah, Mr. Victim, you're the victim of everything. You don't have no agency over your life. It's just the white man keeping you down, and we're here to protect you. Oh, my God. We got your back. We're going to give your black men, women $3 as long as they don't have anything to do with you. Well, you know what? Medium Man did, and anybody knows Medium Man, he's a great statistician. So he did this thing, and I think it's Pew Research or where he got it from. He's got receipts always. And he said from 2015 to 2019, they got some pretty good data. Do you know that black women, they had white women, Spanish women, black women. By the age of 24, 77% of black women have some asshole's baby. Not the ones who are married, because we know marriage rates are low. So by the age 24, 77% of black women have another man's baby. I mean, just let that sink in. 77%, right? In the same token, by 24, by age 20, only 14%. It was 40% by age 20. And then it goes up to 77% for women by age 24. For men, it was 14% by age 20. Then it goes up to, when you add it up, goes up to 50% for men at 24, because men are having sex with mostly black women. But the 25% different means those women are having sex with men who are not black or anybody else. So these are the kind of liberal policies that create broken families, that create set the tone that it's okay to have babies out of wedlock. This is a man and woman thing. Right? No relationships at all. Just forget about the boyfriend and girlfriend bullshit, because you're all cheating on each other. So we don't have no Christian values left, no cultural mores left. The only thing we have right now is unchecked biology. That's all we have right now, because people are just procreating out of hell. They got women in men's prisons. They just arrested 4 women in men's prisons for giving the inmates anything the inmates want, because the men seduce the women. And so you have men in women's prisons, right? Why? Right? Male guards in women's prisons, they blackmail those sisters out of sex and everything else. They extort them out of sex and everything else. People don't respect the nature of men and women. Conservatives understand that. That's why they said, well, you got to have some social mores. Women should have some kind of virtue. Men need to have some kind of discipline. And it all has to be consequence driven. So if people are not taking accountability, you don't care about the consequences. So all I'm just trying to say is all of this kind is traced back to the tone that is set by the people at the top. That's what the deal is. If Kamala Harris doesn't stand for anything, America's tone is going to be wide open and subject to all kinds of demonic interpretations. There's a bad spirit in our black neighborhoods in all the blue states are absolute destructive. I mean, they're just absolutely disruptive, destructive, crime everywhere, poverty everywhere. The cops are debilitated and demoralized. They're quitting their jobs because, they can't make a move. And then we're going to say, oh, man, this, every so often a cop does something egregious. But it pales in comparison to the egregiousness of what we do to each other. They got black men hating black men hating black women hating black men, and forget about what y'all think about yourselves. When your black women don't even like the way they look. They got fake bushy eyelashes. They wear wigs all the fucking time. Nobody wants to take the time to do it. Not nobody. Too many don't want to take the time to make their own natural hair because they don't like the way they look. They have inferiority complexes that's so bad, that they don't even like the way they look. Men can't say to a woman, listen, I'd like to see how you look. I'm not going to commit to you if I can't see how you look without that stupid fucking wig on and those shit encrusted fingernails that is in shape of a claws that don't retract. So we got all kinds of issues based on, the kind of policies, the kind of tone, not to mention the unbridled support of the alphabet community. They're putting people in jail. And they want to put people in jail in Ireland. If you misgender somebody, get the fuck out of here. I mean, it's one way they're trying to do that in the United States. In California, they also tell you they took the rights away from parents to have agents over their own kids. They passed a law already in California where the parents don't have no control over their kids, but Kamala Harris still wants to put black women in jail for truancy. So let me tell you, you drop your kid off and you go to work because you got a double shift, and your kid acts like they going into the school, but they skip school, and then you find out for the last 10 days they weren't in school, and then the cops come and arrest you. You're working your ass off because you're stupid enough to be a single parent, right? With 8 baby daddies and all that shit, but your kids are not doing anything in school, but they arrest you because you didn't know that they weren't going to class. Listen, let me tell you, listen, it's a battle of ideologies coming up for November 5th. And I think as Black men, we have an opportunity to make our voices heard, and our voices and our votes worthwhile. And this time is a vote against the Democrat machine. It's a vote against the Democrat machine. Even if you've held your nose before and you voted for Trump, but if you don't want to vote for Trump, vote for Stein, vote for Cornel West, or just vote down ballot. But don't vote for Kamala Harris. And I'm saying, you don't. She doesn't deserve to be in the White House. She doesn't. We need to break this notion that if that somebody has to look like us in the White House for our best interest. It's just not true. It's not true. She wasn't for people's best interest. Now listen, if she was a tough prosecutor in California and she was putting criminals away who deserve to be away, who's going to argue that? But that's not what she did. That's not all of what she did. It's not all of what she did. The whole story is a whole lot worse than that. It's a whole lot worse than that. So I'm saying, listen, I don't go live a lot on my channel except for my sports show on Wednesdays. But you know what, man? I just felt like go ahead and winging it, man. I need to get better at this anyway, and do a few things for the channel. Tomorrow I'll be on Black Man Unfiltered. We're gonna be doing something fun, right? The balloon show, and those are always interesting. Arlette does a great job with that. But all I can say is that I'm gonna do more political commentary. You can go back to my channel and look at the other 24 divestment from the Democrat Party that I put out. I've been doing this series for a year now, for the most part. And I'm serious. I've been talking about Black men divesting from the Democrat Party even before it's become popular, because it's all over the place now. And it's not just for me. I'm just glad that people are waking up. If you saw Don Lemon do his street interviews, for whatever that's worth, for whatever that's worth, he did his street interviews, and it turns out that there's a whole host of people, Black women and men, who say, no way we're going to vote for Kamala Harris, right? Because just for economic reasons, right? This whole notion that nobody wants to vote for her because she's a woman or she's Black that's just, you're just gaslighting people. She doesn't have anything to offer. That's the point. She's not offering nobody anything. That's why people shouldn't vote for her. That's the key. So, I'm gonna sit down here. I think what's his name? Mark Cuban did a survey, right? Mark Cuban did a survey, and his survey was based on just asking people questions. And he asked a question. I'm trying to find it, and I'm gonna share it if I can find it. He asked a simple question and a simple poll, and of course it's unscientific, but it was 600,000 people answered. Okay, and I found it. I'm gonna just share this with you for a second. Hold on, just hold on for a second. Let me go ahead and share that. Who do we got back here? Hey, Catilia, how you doing? Hey, thanks for stopping by. Oh man, how you doing? How's things going today? How's your Sunday? How's your Sunday? Hopefully it's going well for you. I'm just feeling it today. So anyway, I'm gonna show some statistics from Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. And he he did a poll. Show it. He did a poll. Hopefully people see this. Let me see. Yeah, you can see it. Let me go back. Kind of make it bigger. Yeah, well, listen. He did a poll. He asked people, he says, does character matter? That's what he's essentially, that's what he asked. Does character matter? Right? And, we sit down here and we talk about character all the time. We don't need a pope in the White House. We need somebody who's just America first. That's just what what did I do? Okay, let me go back. No, not you. What did I do? Let me go back. I'll find them. I had it. I shouldn't have switched it. I got to find it again. Mark Cuban. Here it is. Let me go back down again and stop clicking stuff. All right, so people can see this poll. Yeah, here it is. All right, so even in the character issue, would you like your young children to grow up? What kind of character do you want them to look at? And Donald Trump, with all of his shit, he still beat out Kamala Harris. This is okay. The polls that CBS, NBC, ABC, and all the people who hate Trump, those polls are based on less than 2,000 people. Right? So when they say Kamala Harris has a commanding lead and all of this other horse shit, those polls barely have more than 500 people. And we don't know who and how they garner those votes. If those votes are from people they kind of know what those people are going to talk about. Mark Cuban, the owner, billionaire, if you look at it, it's 804,000 people results. Just off the cuff. And he hates Trump. So he asked this random question. If I have a poll of 800,000 people and they still say that they'd rather have Trump than in terms of character, whose persona and character would you like for your young children? They still want Trump. What does that mean of what they think about Kamala Harris? You know what I'm saying? How do you argue those statistics? That's the point. I don't know how you argue those statistics. So let me just go back. I mean, it's just wow. And for as much as I think that the ladies have value in so many areas. I mean, even president, I don't know if you were here before. Hey, Trey Ferg, what's going on, man? I'm just here with my little rant. If you ever want to come up, man, I could either both of you guys. Let me see it. Do I have the link? Yeah, that's the link right there. Anyway, so I'm just going on a little rant here, a little rampage. But, some people could easily kind of gaslight or try to say this, you don't want her because she's a woman and all that kind of stuff. I do have some things that I don't think women should be in charge of. But being president, not necessarily one of them, just has to be the right woman. Because we've had leaders that were women throughout the ages. And some were pretty damn decent all over the world. Some were bad, some were great. I would say that if I had to choose a woman to be president, it'll be Tulsi Gabbard. She's very stoic, and she's a soldier. So she kind of understands the value of human life. She's not going to just send our sons and daughters to die in wars over stupidity. She told us that should be the last resort. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm coming from. So, like I said, as Black men, we have just started to have our voices heard. We got some great voices in this space. The Angry Man, Anton Daniels, Black Man Unfiltered trying to build stuff. There's people trying to do things out there. But the truth of the matter is we have an opportunity to change the direction of this country. And that's on November 5th. November 5th, we could decide. We could ensure with our vote to make sure the Democrats lose in every swing state in the country. And if they lose the swing states, they lose the electoral college, they lose the election. It doesn't matter whether black women want to vote for Kamala because she's she's a woman and all that other horse shit, man. No, not just for that. What's her policies? And they're all destructive. They're all destructive, So, yeah, man, Tulsi, Tulsi has been my one of my favorites for the last, I don't know, definitely when she was running last time, but I knew about her even before then. And every time I hear her talk, sometimes she'll drone because she's got that stoic kind of voice. But you could tell that when she talks, that there's sincerity in what she's saying that you could trust. And she's, like I said, she's a colonel. She's still a reserve colonel. She's been over and seen action. So she's not going to just send people's sons and daughters over to die in some stupid wars just because, the military industrial complex wants to keep selling weapons. Now, I still have some philosophical differences with the support to Israel, and I don't know what her stance is. And it's not the support to Israel just per se. It's without asking for any kind of thing in return. Our tax dollars shouldn't be given to anybody unless they do what we say. That's my problem. Hey, listen, you want our tax dollars, and we tell you to stand down, you stand down, God damn it. Or else, you do it on your own. So that's the problem I have. Even with Zelensky, you know what? You want our money, and if we give you our money, these are the conditions. And we have no conditions. I don't like giving away tax dollars with no goddamn conditions. So it didn't. So anyway, look, all I'm trying to say is I am so adamant, and I've been saying this for almost a year about divesting from the Democrat Party. I really, really think that black men, we've been down for so long, we don't even understand our own power. We don't understand it. We've been listening to black women lead black men around like stupid puppy dogs because we don't have no damn fathers in the household enough to tell the women, stand down and shut the fuck up, man. It's serious. Listen, and I'm a married man. So when I talk to my wife, I'm as sweet as pie. I do everything I can for that lady because she trusts me and she respects me. And I respect her. I always have a healthy respect for her. But we don't but our position is supposed to be in the front. That's the bottom line. And if we got too many men who are willing to stand in the background and then shame other men for being men. We got to stop apologizing for being men. We just got to stop doing it. It makes me sick. Just like this woman who came on and tried to shame Cam Newton and Nick Cannon. Who are you? Who are you to shame men for doing what they have to do or what they want to do? Stop. As long as they ain't committing no crimes, and the women that they are fooling around with or have relationship with, those women chose that life. They chose that life. They weren't forced. They had agency over their bodies. Stop it. I'm surprised they sit down there and let that woman say the kind of things that she said to them. I would have told her, I would have been cordial, but I would have told her, you're 41 years old. You don't have no husband, no children. And you can't tell me that over those years from 20 to 40, you didn't find some men who were suitable for marriage. You just turned them down because you thought you were better than them. So stop. Just stop it. Stop the cap. Anyway, so listen, I just, hey, Trey Ferg, I don't know if you wanted to come up. I saw you stop by, man. I stopped by your live the other day myself. So I appreciate you even stopping by. Catalea, I appreciate you stopping by too. I've been ranting for 44 minutes. I'm gonna start doing more rants like this. I just might, because a lot of times I take these things and the rants I have into my speaker, into my phone, usually are always better than ones I do live. But I need to kind of change that up. I'll be on the balloon. We're gonna do a balloon show tomorrow, and I got it's three ladies who's talking to these lineup of men, and I think some of them are pretty interesting. So it's gonna keep it light. So I'm getting my hard hitting stuff out today, you know. So I just had to say this about this Democrat stuff, and you know, but in a week from Monday, I'm gonna do another one on Black Man Unfiltered. It's gonna be the difference between the liberal and the conservative, and who has been more damaging to the Black community. That's going to be the title of that one. I'm going to flush that one out. Is the liberal or the conservative more damaging to the Black community, Black men, Black women, and who has wrought the most pain? So that's one of the things I'm going to do. Yep. Anyhow, so yeah, one of these days we're gonna have to get you, Catalina, up somewhere to, you know, give a voice. Cause I know you got a lot of stuff up there in your head. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be those next 2 weeks, and like I said, I'm still kind of celebrating my anniversary. So I've been like I was under the weather for a little while. We had a lot of fun during our anniversary, so I did a little bit too much in drinking, baby. Anyway, thanks for coming up, folks. And I'm gonna end this live, and I appreciate it. Hey, listen, don't mind my rants. Sometimes I go all over the place, and I gotta stop, because if I start thinking about something else, I'm gonna start saying it. So I'm glad you stopped by my channel, and I'll be coming back with more of these on a regular basis. Right now, there's no timetable for these things, but whenever the mood hits. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. 37 years. 37 years. You know, so and counting, knock on wood, you know, Lord willing. That's what I should say. Anyway, so thanks for stopping by. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and probably see you tomorrow, because I'll be on the Boomer Show at 7 o'clock Eastern, and we'll be talking about popping the balloon. All right, everybody. Hey, Trey Ferg, if you still out there, man, we'll catch up later on. And have a good night.